Qapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail heroic. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Important news are new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, it's gonna be under one roof. You're gonna run it like a business. That means you're gonna make a profit.
Look at these 3 word-written launches on the rest.
With a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla. And I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Why did we go live on a completely different stream? I don't know. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think you can hear me. I'll double check the audio. Hello? Yes, you can hear me. I don't know, YouTube kind of effed up today. I've never seen it act like it did. I tried to hit play on the live, start the live stream. It kept bugging out. I don't know what went wrong. And then it just started on a completely separate live stream. Son of a bitch. So after this stream, I'll have to go back and edit and delete the old one and set the other thing right. And of course, it's getting stupid spam call just at the beginning. And I'm sure somebody texted me. Yeah, Thomas, thank you, Thomas, for chatting. Hopefully everybody found their way to this stream. I see Josh Street and myself and other people are posted the link to the correct stream. Real stream at this address. So people find their way over there. I'll have to delete the old one. No big deal. But it is Star Trek Deep Space Nine Wednesday for April 21st, 2021, Season 5, Episode 6, Trials and Tribble-ations, my favorite Star Trek episode of all the Treks. And yes, there it is. There's Eyebrow Dax, appropriate for this episode from Rock's. Holy shit, Rock Solid Productions donated $25 and says, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." Hashtag Dear Bob, go buy yourself an alarm clock. I was on time, goddammit. I was on time. I was just at the wrong stream today. And that wasn't my fault. But thank you so much, Rock Solid or RXP, whoever you are. But I'll assume it's Rock Solid, lest he come on and say it's not him. Thank you so much for that generous donation. certainly worthy of some kissing backs. We got a special treat for today. Trials and Tribble-ations, my favorite Deep Space Nine, actually my favorite Star Trek episode of all time. And yes, I'm wearing the old school red uniform shirt just for today. A show that perfectly blends the two best Trek series, undisputed Trek series of all times, TOS and DS9, marries them together in a way I would not think possible. Certainly I would not think possible today. Something you look back on, like the Great Pyramids, or even the Empire State Building, and say we could not build that today in the time that they took to build it for the cost that they could build it. It would be an impossibility. And NB Geeks, let's talk with a $2 super chat. Says, look up in the sky. It's Birdo Prey 5 crashing. Thank you. I hope not. I appreciate everyone. So yeah, this is my favorite DS9 episode, my favorite Trek episode, especially my favorite DS9 episode, obviously. My favorite TOS episode, my favorite DS9, my favorite Trek. And in order to do something special, to show the love I have for this particular episode of Trek, we are going to watch it today for those who can. Those who went to watch it in the Birdo Prey 5 screening room. And again, this is only available while I am live and while we live watch it for the first time. If you go to birdoprey5.com/SR, the address is at the bottom of the YouTube video right now. You can watch it in glorious 960p HD. Not quite 1080, but 960 is damn good. As close to HD in DS9 as you're going to get. And this was from a fan who used an AI learning program to HD upconvert every single frame of every single DS9 episode. And while legally I can't give a link out to where you can get this, I can say for those who are interested in educational purposes and those who already own DS9 on DVD, if you go to someplace like Google and put in keywords like DS9 HD 960p, and you look for a Reddit or a GitHub page, you will find the way to download these for yourself, for your own educational purposes, if you're interested in looking at what DS9 could look like in beautiful, stunning HD. Now, be aware, as they are HD episodes, each file is well over a gigabyte. Each episode is well over a gigabyte. So 7 seasons of episodes equals many hundreds of gigabytes. So it is not for the faint of heart or the faint of hard drive space. If you're going to download this, you need a lot of room and a lot of time. So Cinnabon Bunny was first in this chat and said, what? Yes, because I think he was the first to notice I started in the wrong chat. Thomas Potts said hello. And Thomas, I did notice in the previous chat, you did say you hope me and Mamo Prey were feeling good, that you got the Moderna shot and you were okay, and that you think Star Trek Discovery is the best Discovery and we should stop watching DS9 and watch Discovery, which of course made me panic and worry for your life. But yes, Mamo Prey and I both got the Moderna shot today in our left arms, and so far, so good. And Aravik Sonder with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Aravik Sonder. And it says, Qapla, Bird of Prey. Come on, Eyebrow Dax, where you got toasting Shran. Not quite eyebrow Dax, but not awful. Not awful. Josh Street says, what? Again, Josh Street, I am sorry. Thomas Potts, I'm sorry. Commodore Ty says, hit to go live by accident. No, I didn't hit by accident. I hit it. I was scheduled to go, set to go live. I had the other stream open in YouTube. I don't understand why it created a whole new stream. I've never seen YouTube do that before. Star Trek Nitpickers says Qapla World, Qapla Star Trek Nitpickers. William Jackson says Qapla, have a good stream. See you soon. Take care, William. And Star Trek Nitpickers put up a video today on Michael Dorn and his announcement that Deej had let me know about on Twitter a couple of days ago. You guys should check it out. It's a short video. It answers some questions on what Michael Dorn might have been talking about. Frankly, it answers a lot of questions on what Michael Dorn was or was not talking about. And I'm not going to spoil it. I think everybody should check out that video. Uncle Remus says, no, it's no Tribble at all. Haha. I got it. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, what about the DS9 Wednesday stream? This is the DS9 Wednesday stream. This is City Alpha 5. I don't know. I'll delete the old one and update the thumbnail and copy over the description and whatnot. Carlo Albanese says hi and hope everyone is as well as can be. Thank you, Carlo. I'll tell you guys, I'm feeling better than I was yesterday. Oh man, that shot. We got it just about noon. And when she was shooting it, so I was watching Deep Space Nine. Sons and Daughters was the episode where it's a Klingon episode. Worf finds Alexander come aboard the ship, him and Martok's ship. Alexander shows up. And so I was watching the episode when the nurse came in, who was a younger woman, I'd say older 20s, young 30s. She was masked, so it's hard to tell her age. Plus, she had orange. Let's put it this way: she had her hair dyed like bright orange. So she comes in and she says, "Oh, I used to watch this." She says, and she sees Worf's face. It's like, that guy. I know that guy. I used to watch this. So I said, "Oh, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine." And I thought, oh, maybe we got a genuine nerd nurse here. And she's like, she couldn't remember if that was the name or whatever. She's like, I don't know, but yeah, that's him. I remember him. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I was like, yes, this is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Then she's like, I really liked the guy who had that very straight face all the time. So I was like, Odo? She's like, no, he was really pale. And then she looks at the picture in the back and she's like, the guy in the picture, in the poster. And Mamo Prey looks over and she says, Data? And she's like, yeah, Data. So I was like, well, Worf is in both this Deep Space Nine and Star Trek The Next Generation. So I was like, okay, so I guess you watched The Next Generation. And she's like, yeah. And the other girl I liked was, and these were her words, and she was not a white person. She's like, I really like the black girl. The black girl? I mean, to say girl, seemed a little odd for Guinan. I said, Guinan? You Whoopi Goldberg? She's like, no. Like she knew, like she meant younger. I was like, black girl on TNG? I was like, do you mean Uhura? And she's like, yeah, I think that's it. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So we went from Worf on Deep Space Nine to Data to TNG to Uhura. She didn't know what Star Trek, which was which, whatever. I was just happy that she was a Star Trek fan of some sort. She couldn't tell. You can close the window, Mama Pray. She couldn't tell she couldn't tell which series she'd like. I hope. Oh my God, God help me. I hope she didn't mean Michael Burnham. I hope she didn't. But Mama Pray thought of it. If she had said Michael Burnham, it would have been, get out of the house, take your goddamn shot with you, and get the hell out of my house. No, I'm sure she meant Uhura. I think she probably watched with her grandparents or something. I don't know. Yeah, she used to watch it. She doesn't anymore. So, yeah, that was. I thought we had a genuine DS9 fan on my hands this morning, and it turned out she was just casual Trek, not even a Trekkie, just knew of Star Trek, which is better than nothing. Let's face it, it's better than most people of her age group, I would say, but so close. Thomas says maybe Berto Prey goofed. It wasn't my fault. Carlo Albanese says, praise the soup, Jedi Bill. Enjoy a good brew with Captain Trek. And as always, hail Karoga. Hail Karoga. Qapla, Carlo. Thank you. Josh Street says, the shot has made Berto Prey lose his mind and forget it was DS9 Wednesday. I didn't lose my mind. I don't even know what this stream is titled. A Berto Prey 5 video. Son of a bitch. I'll fix the title after the stream is over. Yeah. Aberjam says, why do I do this to myself? What did you do to yourself, Aberjam? Going to 2 different streams? I'm sorry. John DeMarco says, greetings, John DeMarco. Qapla. Sleaze and Cheese Movies says, shock troops. Qapla, Sleaze and Cheese Movies, which looks like Bee's Nest. The Bee's Nest avatar has changed to Sleaze and Cheese Movies. Qapla, Bee's Nest. Carlo Albanese says, Berto Prey, how are you both feeling? We're both feeling really pretty good, Carlo. No complaints so far. And RXP again donated another $5 and says the first 25 is for Mop. This is for Sassy. You will need an alarm clock because every effing time, hashtag Bird is late. Well, thank you so much for Mamo Prey and for Sassy. I don't need an alarm clock though. Carlo says, we are feeling good, Carlo. Thank you. Aberjam says, hashtag free Nicole. Sean DeMarco says, YouTube messed up. I'll try to contain my shock. I know. Surprising. Josh Reed says, this is a new Berto Prey. So now if you start a stream when you have another stream ready, you go live to you pulling a Berto Prey, even if your mic is muted. And Josh Reed says, if you want to watch along with Berto Prey 5, but don't have a copy of the episode or movie, you can go to https://www.bertoprey5.com/sr to watch along with Bird only when Berto Prey 5 is live streaming. And that is true. And that is also where today and today only you can watch today's episode in 960p HD. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Qapla 47 Yorktown. Catman DD Myers says, Berto Prey Qapla. How are you and the family? We're doing good, DD. Thank you for asking. Thomas Potts says, Berto Prey. FYI, the title of the stream is a Berto Prey 5 video. Yes, Thomas. This YouTube just recreated this video out of thin air using my default settings. So I had no time to edit it. I have to go back and edit all the settings, the thumbnails, the metadata, all that stuff. Pat S says, I have her action figure from this episode. The Dax action figure from this episode. Awesome. Rockside Productions says, hashtag Birdflight, hashtag Lato Prey, Hashtag still nothing from my birthday. From Bird. Hashtag free mop. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. Got my vaccination appointment on Saturday. Awesome, Random Menace. Saul Leibowitz, agent to the stars. Says Qapla, Bird of Prey. Looking forward to this episode. Very cool, Saul. Looking forward to starting this episode as well. D.D. Myers says hashtag kissing Dax. Everybody got some kissing Dax at the start of this stream. If you didn't see it, rewind. Aberjam says, I was on time, but the wrong stream. Newsflash, Bird. If you arrive promptly to the wrong interview, you don't get the job. Yes, but in this case, it's like the company sent me to the wrong interview. Josh Reed says, remember, if you want new ill Birdo Prey to read your comment, put at Birdo Prey 5 so the sleep mute his mic happy will stay awake. Use at Birdo Prey 5 in your comment. And John Araki donated $1 through Super Chat. Thank you, John Araki. Josh Reed, I don't know what you were talking about here. Except, yes, if you want me to read your comment, especially during the episode, put at Birdo Prey 5 in your comment so it highlights and I can read it. Norman Buckwald, Qapla Norman, says, as I tried to say in the other one of the best homages ever and the best celebration of an anniversary of the franchise through storytelling ever. I agree. I absolutely agree, Norman. I think, what was this, a 25th anniversary or something? Special? Doing it this way? Carlo Albanese says, Bird of Prey, thanks for telling us to chill out on the couch. Thanks for letting us chill out on the couch with this fantastic episode of Deep Space Nine. As always, we'll clean up when we leave so Mamo Prey doesn't have to. Thank you so much, Carlo. NB Geek says DS9 needs to be remastered and put on Blu-ray 4K to give this show the honor it is due. I totally agree, NB Geek. I totally agree. And Cinnabon says, you said HD. It's gonna be HD. 960p is HD. Hell, 720p is HD. So 960 is even more HD than 720. Cinnabon says, liar, oh pray. No, it's not. It's not lying. Now, it's not 16:9, it's 4:3, but it is HD. Live with Matthew says, Qapla, Bird of Prey, and all Qapla. Now, guys, when we do start watching it in the screening room, if you want to see it in HD, I do suggest you full screen it, which means you're going to be listening to the YouTube. You're not going to be hearing YouTube. If you're watching it in a small window, I mean, it's still going to look pretty sharp, but it's not necessarily going to be as sharp as it could be. And Roxas, as you know, if you had the Retro Tink 2X, you could double the resolution from 960 to 1920. You can't just magically double resolution. Norman says, opened it up there, but comments will be here. Roxas says, anything 720p or higher is HD. Absolutely. Josh Street says, Google hates your screening room. Bird of Prey. Why does Google hate my screening room? Its screening room is working. You can't Google that address. You've just got to type. That's why you have to type it in. Live with Matthew says, Rock Solid Productions. I just watched your convention video, and I'm beyond jealous. Oh, very cool. Carlo Albanese says, wow, Josh Street, congratulations on Google getting your chat. Uh-oh. Google killed the chat. I want Burnham, not DS9, says Thomas. Thomas is sickly ill. Wait, are you saying that if I put the screening room link in, Google's going to erase it? https birdoprey5.com/SR. I just put it in. Let's see what happens. Cinnabon says only 4K is HD. No, that is not true. Rock Solid says life with Matthew as you should be. Chronos says, what's a gigabyte? A gigabyte? It seems to have gone through. Maybe they'll delete it afterwards. Life with Matthew says, Thomas Potts, poor man, you're suffering from the vax. Hang in there, man. You'll be back to normal soon, maybe. Qapla Kronos says Qapla Bird O Prey 5 and at chats O Prey. Aberjam says DS9 needs 1.21 gigawatts. Well, it needs 1.21 gigabytes per episode, thereabouts. Actually, 1.3 for this episode. Thomas got the Pfizer vaccine. Hail Burnham. I guess the Moderna vaccine is going to make me like Star Trek Picard. Kronos says, I'll deal with the cool myself. Live with Manners says, glad you were able to get the shot, Bird of Prey. It's not for me, but I'm glad the people who want it can get it. Understood. Well, you guys got the actual virus, so you guys still have some protection. And it wasn't too bad for you guys, so you have some natural immunity now. NB Geek says Dax is a classic TOS, and damn, she is even hotter. Absolutely. Thomas says hello to Kronos. Kronos says hey to Life with Matthew and hey to NB. NB says don't cross the streams. Life with Matthew says hey Kronos, how's it going? Norman Buckwald says I love this episode, but it's my 4th favorite DS9 for me. Wow. Visitor, Duet, and Pale Moonlight outrank it for me. I would say this is number 1. Pale Moonlight is number 2. Children of Time is number 3. And I'd have to really think hard about 4 and 5. I'd have to really, really think hard. But I'd say Visitor and Duet are certainly up there. Certainly top 10. Rock Solid says, Bird of Prey, missed you at the premiere today. Sorry, Rock Solid, I was busy today. I was getting my shot. Kronos says, Bird of Prey, you only have 2 haters at the moment. Keep up the good work. Yeah, I was surprised that we had the 2 haters, even though it was a last second stream. Darius Darius says Qapla Bird of Prey. Qapla Darius. Kronos says hey to Soft Putty and Baron McMusin. NB Geek says no Tribble Klingons were harmed in the making of this video. Norman says maybe not canon, but there's a novel published right before Picard that states Worf is currently doing. Yes, it has Worf as captain of the Enterprise. F. Or E. E or F. One of them. And so I don't know. It was supposed to be, they claim it was canon, just like they claimed the comic books were canon. And Kronos' Bird is better. I don't say I'm better, but I'm better than I was yesterday. That much is for sure. Norman's is Teenage Alexander. Ugh. Kronos' Bird of Prey. Seriously, it's good to hear you are doing better. Thank you, Kronos. NB Geeks is Bird of Prey. You like 'em young, huh? What I say? Dang kid, says Kronos. Norman says when Worf, it could be best. It could be DS9 or TNG. Lol Dater says Life with Matthew. Dater says Kronos. Life with Matthew says Black Girl in TNG. That's what I'm saying. She clearly didn't know what she was talking about. Norman says Ahura. That's what I asked. Dee Dee says what's a I don't know. Not white. That's racist. No, she wasn't white. That's all I'm saying. Darius says hail Kronos and NB Geek. Norman says Michael Burnham. I only thought about that after the fact. What's a Kronos? Thomas is again yelling Discovery is the best. Poor Thomas. Darius has agreed, Bird of Prey. Sometimes it's small victories. Yes, Chrono says, hey to Mamo Prey. At least it wasn't Burnham, yeah, for this Commodore tie. Carlos says, Bird of Prey, she's probably talking about Picard. Star Trek Picard? That's even worse. Live with Matthews laughing. Darius says, Mamo Prey, I didn't even think of that. Norman says, there's also Rafi now. I think she meant a younger. I thought the way she said it, I pictured somebody as young or younger than her. So really the only one who would fit that would have been young Uhura. Or maybe she even saw the 2009 movie or something. And that Uhura, I'm not sure. Thomas says, nothing is wrong with Michael Burnham. Of sure, Thomas, sure. Wow, Mamo Prey is strict, says Kronos. Jedi Bill says, hello, Bird of Prey. Qapla, hail Karoga, hail Karoga. Jedi Bill, I was so happy, Jedi Bill, to be on your channel earlier today and to hear that you were doing so much better, that you finished your antibiotics, your wound is doing really well, you've got wound care coming to your house several times a week, and things are doing really good. And guys, let's all give a round to Jedi Bill. He's lost a bunch of weight. More to go, but he's made a very good start, Jedi Bill. Congratulations. I truly, truly hope you recover very, very soon. I was so glad to get that update from you. Darius says, Carlos says hello to Darius. Kronos also says hello to Jedi Bill. Qapla says Kronos, Qapla. Cinnabon Bunny says this episode is terrible. It's clearly a ripoff of a TOS episode. Yes, it's a ripoff of the Trouble with Tribbles. Kronos says, Bird of Prey, you do seem like you're in a better mood. I gotta say, Kronos, I feel like I got a little bit more energy than usual. I don't know how long it'll last. Commodore Ty says, don't forget to subscribe to his channel. And there's the link. You should do so. Absolutely. Carlo puts in a bunch of sassy emojis. Says, how is Sassy? Sassy and Mamo Prey are resting. We had some wind and thunderstorms blow through earlier. We had the window open. Sassy was not happy. Sassy was not happy that we had the window open with the wind. It was scaring her. Poor Sassy. Kronos is Tribbles with elations. Yes, Tribbles with elations. Dee Myers says, Darius, howdy. John Araki says, I bet Bird was late for his birth. Ask Mop. I was due October 30th or 31st. I was due October 30th. I was born November 13th. So yes, I was late for my birth. Very, very late for my birth. Cinnabon Bun. Dee Myers says hi to Cinnabon Bun. Actually says howdy to Cinnabon. Josh Street says, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't to the Bird of Prey 5 XXX channel. No, it's 1X. And the X stands for extra. The Bird of Prey 5 X channel. It gives you content to extra content. When I have too much content to put on one channel, I spill over to the X channel. Kronos says, Karogan Orphan Miners had a hand in it, Bird of Prey. I'm not sure to what you refer. Kronos is smooshies to Dax, just not Curzon. Bird of Prey, you like Curzon. I don't want to smooch Curzon Dax. Carlo Albanese is laughing and says, Bird of Prey said, Mamo Prey is free. Mamo Prey said, oh no, I'm not. Thinking it was about her Cinema Sad Day vote. Best clip ever in IMO. Jaws reaches Bird of Prey. Are you going to mute your mic like last night? I don't know. Did I mute my mic last night? I forgot to mute my mic this morning at one point. Rock Solid wants Dear Bops. It's Deep Space Nine Wednesday, Rock Solid. Carlos is Bird of Prey. How is Sassy? I answered that. I think it was asked twice. Where are we? Oh, we jumped. We jumped a lot. Okay, then I put in the link for the screening room, which still seems to be there. Josh reaches Bird of Prey. Good. Think I'm having the episode up on my TV with you on the small screen. Good. I think I'm having the episode on my TV with you on the small screen. Got it. Josh Treat. Yeah, that's what you should do for today. Roxodds is Bird of Prey. Yes, you can magically double your resolution. It's called Upscaler. The Retro Tink 2X actually does enable double the number of line drawings in your video. Yes, but if it makes... I got it. There's only so much upscaling you can do before it just gets grainy. And that's why they settled on the 960p. It was a diminishing returns. Life with Matthews is Bird of Prey. I see the link and it worked just fine for me. Very cool. Thank you, Life with Matthew. Roxodds is Bird of Prey. In OSSC, open source scanline converter, can line double, triple, quadruple, quintuple. Why do you argue with someone who is very knowledgeable in the subject? You can, but there's a point at which there's no point. Right? There's a point in which there's no point. You can't make, all right, you can't take a 480p DVD. And I mean, you can convert it to 4K, but you're not getting 4K video. You've just made a 480 into 4K worth of data. You don't have 4K independent pixels. The pixels all around it are the same. Library Matthews says, dang, encode that with H265 and save some space. Yeah, but then that would take a long time. Kronos is Bird of Prey. Great Scott. Kronos is my body can deal with it. Falls over. Oh, jeez. Saul Leibowitz, Agent to the Stars, is Bird of Prey. I got the Moderna vaccine, and ever since I received it, I found I love kissing Dax even more. That's a fine side effect. Kronos is Bird of Prey. This was a good episode, but not a great episode. Not a great episode, Kronos. Oh my God. Kronos is also terribly ill. Kronos says, we all need a better Bird of Prey. Wow. Kronos says, she wasn't white. Bird of Prey, wow, gets out. No, what? No, I'm not even reading that. Thomas is Bird of Prey. You know, you would love to cuddle with a naked Burnham. I would not. God damn. Carlos is Bird of Prey. My son is ready to see this episode with me. I hope it finishes before he goes to bed. I hope so too. We're going to get started very soon. That's why I'm skipping, except the Bird of Prey 5 chats. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of chats today. Josh Reed says, place your bets on when Bird of Prey is going to start. Skipping chats to read only the Bird of Prey 5 comments. About 10 minutes ago. Josh Reed says, Darius, too late. Bird of Prey is already skipping. Yep. Kronos says, pixels are just a dream, Bird of Prey. And Rock says, Bird of Prey, you can upconvert the signal, get sharper pixels. That's what the OSSC whatever does. It was designed to take 240p and upscale to 1080p and higher. Oh my God. Kronos is Bird of Prey. You are so into my mistakes. You know it to be true. You are so into my mistakes. You know it to be true. And Roxodds is Bird of Prey. They finally figured out how to make a decent TOS episode. They made it into a DS9 episode with the DS9 characters, Dax in the skirt. Wow, 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 wow. With that, guys, let's go ahead and start the episode. So head on over to the screening room, or if you have your own copy on DVD, on Paramount Plus, on Hulu, on Amazon Prime Video, or on Netflix. It is Season 5, Episode 6, Trials and Tribble-ations, originally aired November 4th, 1996, and directed by Jonathan West. Who's Jonathan West? I don't know. Next week's episode is going to be Let He Who Is Without Sin, which is the episode where Dax and Worf and Julian and Lita and Quark go to Risa. And then Worf gets hung up with these people who want to make Risa reign again. It's a weird episode next week. I always like the episode, but it is certainly I can understand why it's not necessarily a favorite episode of many people. But let's enjoy today's episode. And Carlo puts in a Tribble emoji. So very cool. Okay. So we're heading to the screening room. I have to shut off the desktop audio so you guys don't hear this. And we're going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Dun, 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 dun. And we got a ship docking at DS9. And we got two people in black coming out of the turbo lift. And they're very serious looking. Kira says, "Welcome to Deep Space Nine." They're from the Department of Temporal Investigations. Dax says, "I guess you boys from Temporal Investigations are always on time." They were not amused. They want to know where Captain Sisko is. And Sisko says, "Are you sure you don't want anything?" Like, just the truth. He puts down his coffee. He says, "You'll get it." He's like, "Where to start?" And the one guy says, "At the beginning." And the other guy says, "If there is such a thing." Like, "Why did you take the Defiant back in time?" He says, "It was an accident." He said, "So you're saying it's not a predestination paradox, a time loop, that you were meant to go back in time?" And Sisko says, "No." He says, "Good, we hate those." And he says, "So what happened?" He says, "This may take some time." I'm like, "Is that a joke?" He said, "No, we hate those too." Whenever you're ready, Captain. 2 weeks ago, Cardassians contacted them and wanted to return an orb to the Bajorans. And one of them doesn't know what the orbs are. So he's explaining an orb to them, and it looks like we're getting a delivery. And they thought it was there's orbs of wisdom and other orbs. It turned out it was the orb of time, but they didn't know what was the orb of time at the time they got it. Okay. It's fine. Mom O'Pre's got to go to the door, so I will cut the camera for a second. They took on a passenger. It's okay. You can go. Oh, it's a human. He's like humans. He never thought he'd see another human. Another normal face again. Call him Barry. They're taking him back to the Federation. He was trapped on Cardassia when the Klingons attacked. He deals in gemstones and trillium mostly. And he's like, "Do you know what Cardassians drink in the morning? Fish juice, hot fish juice." He wants Arachnagino. He says after 6 months, he was hoping the Klingons would invade. He's like, "At least they know how to make coffee, even if they are foul-smelling barbarians." And he looks at Worf, and he says, sorry. And O'Brien says, "I wouldn't take it personally." And Bashir says, "I like the way you smell." And O'Brien says, "Yeah, earthy, peaty." And Bashir says, "Yeah, with a touch of lilac." And And Worf knows that he's being toyed with, and he just leaves. So how did Cisco know this conversation happened? It's because Cisco's the one recounting this to the time police. So O'Brien says, next time you see Worf, just ask, is that Lilac? And she's talking to Dax, and Dax like, no, I have my own way of torturing Worf. Uh-oh. O'Brien's picking up a surge in chronoton radiation, and the ship glows, and something happens. They don't know what happened. They dropped out of warp. Sensors are coming back online. I don't know. There's something very wrong. According to the navigation computer, they're over 200 light years from their last position. And somebody's deactivated the transporter. They're picking up another ship dead ahead. It's close. They can't pick it out yet. He needs the view screen. He needs the sensors. He thinks he's got it. Holy shit! It's the USS Enterprise. NCC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D. And I was still talking to the camera, even though the camera was off the entire time. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Kronos is what's a riser. And Rock Solid says Jadzia in a swimsuit. Yum. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Kronos says you have dun 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 on the brain. And Kronos says, this is high def? Yes. Kronos is bird of prey. Garfield is annoyed. Oh, I'm sorry. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Rock Solid says bird of prey is ignoring the chat. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Carlo Albanese says bird of prey. Why does Dax got blue spots? Don't play with me, Carlo. Don't play with me. Kronos is oh so bloody eye. Be specific, Captain. Which Enterprise? There's been 5, 6. The first Enterprise, Constitution class. Uh-oh. His ship, James T. Kirk. The one and only. 17 separate temporal violations. The biggest file on record. The man was a menace. What was the date of arrival? Who cares? John Araki says, bird of prey made you look. It was a Friday. She was orbiting K7 Deep Space Station near the Klingon border. Security reported just before they were thrown back in time. Someone overpowered the guard guarding the orb, and it didn't take us long to realize who it was. His real name was Arn Darvin. He was a Klingon altered to look human. They assume he came aboard the Defiant to get access to the orb. He's like, why did they bring us back to this point? At this point in time, this is how he appeared during this time period. At this point, he's on K7, posing as a Federation official. So he's a spy, says Bashir. His old mission was to derail Federation colonizing efforts by poisoning the grain, which is stored aboard the station. However, 18 hours from now, James Kirk will expose him and he'll be arrested. And it will end his career. Klingon intelligence will turn their back on him and he'll become an outcast. He spent the next 100 years eking out a meager living, posing as a human merchant. And then in a final indignity, trapped behind Cardassian lines, died the Klingon invasion. Until he heard rumors about an orb that could take him back in time. The Random Menace is watching it on a large screen. It looks fantastic. Awesome to hear Random Menace. That is exactly what I was hoping for. John Araki, yeah, made me look. You did. So he wiped the transporter logs when he beamed over. He could be on the Enterprise or the station. He's like, we have to search both without raising suspicion or altering the timeline. The last thing he wants is a visit from temporal investigations when he gets home. And Bashir says we ought to find a way to blend in. And this is the scene where they're taking off their new Federation uniforms. Jadzia's getting rid of her dots. They've got the old-time uniforms, the old-time communicators, the old-time tricorders. Sisko's got on command gold. Bashir's got on blue. And he says, Captain. He's like, Lieutenant. He didn't want to push his luck. And there's O'Brien in red. And he says, wait, aren't you two wearing the wrong colors? He's like, don't you know anything about this time period? He's like, I'm a doctor, not a historian. He said, operations wore red and command wore gold. And then Dax says, and women wore less. And she shows off her dress. So the original Enterprise used an old-style Deutronic sensor. If they wait to the right point in the cycle, they can decloak for 3 seconds. That's just enough time to transport. So the chief and Julian will start on deck 21 and work their way forward. Sisko and Dax will work their way back. And Worf and Odo can go search the station. Little of it is habitable anyway. So he says, okay, try to do as little interaction as possible. And they're coming up on the band shift, so Sisko and Dax are going to beam over. And Kronos says, yeah, you are feeling better. Addie is here. Qapla Addie. Uh-oh, message deleted by the... What'd you do, Commodore? What did you put in, Commodore? Message deleted by the Google moderator team. Commodore Ty, I hope you still have a channel. Oh, you're the link to your channel? Google doesn't like the link to your channel? Carlos says, I don't think Google wants people putting in links unless it's Bird of Prey. I don't know what's going on, Commodore Ty. You're welcome to put in a link to your channel. Addie in Stereo says, when are we going to watch Voyager? Oh, so Brian is trying to get the turbo lift to work. He's saying deck 21. I said deck 21. Bashir doesn't know anything about this time period. He's like, maybe it's jammed. Oh, and this very attractive young woman comes on, and she touches the thing on the turbo lift and says deck 15. And now they all look stupid. Bashir says, I won't tell anyone if you won't. And she gives like a glance to Bashir. And Dax says, they really packed them in on these old ships. And he has an auxiliary communications juncture. So Sisko's going to pretend to do repairs so Dax can scan for Darwin. She loves classic 23rd century design. Black finish, silver highlights. He's like, Dax. She's like, sorry. She just scan for the bad guy, Dax. Kronos says Bashir is an idiot. Yeah, for all of his enhanced intelligence, he didn't care about history much. So Odo walks into the bar because, let's face it, remember, Odo's a human in this episode. So he doesn't want to be searching a station. He's lazy. Lazy like every other human. Oh, he brings out his... What the hell type of tricorder is that? I don't know. Oh, and here we get our first... I think did we see Chekhov walk by? Yes! Chekhov and Uhura walk by. Ah, and there's a waitress says, "What's your pleasure?" He wants a Raktajino. It's like, you're the second person to order that. What is it? He says, "It's Klingon coffee." He's like, "Oh, second person. Who was the first?" He's like, "An older man, a human." Odo's like, "Where's he now?" She's like, "I don't know. He left an hour ago. I think he said he'd be back." She's like, "We don't have any Klingon beverages. When you want something else? Tarkalian tea." She's like, "Okay." Apparently they could do Tarkalian tea. Oh, surely Cyrano Jones. What is it? Is it alive? Yes, it's alive. Can she hold it? It's got Edward's DNA in it. No, it's a Tribble. The trouble with Edward never happened. It is non-canon crap track. So O'Brien is looking into something, and he says, "Chief, you're supposed to be working." He's afraid to touch any of it. It's all cross-circuited and patched together. He can't make heads or tails of it. And he says it's sounds like one of your repair jobs. So Bashir says no sign of Darwin. He's got to widen the scan radius. He's got to keep the scan field below 20 milliwatts, or he's going to set off the internal sensors. Oh, now some guy's here and says, "What are you doing here?" "Scotty told me to do this." He says, "Oh, you were going to do this." He's like, "It's on the duty roster." And Bashir says, "Must have been some mix-up." He's like, "Isn't that a medical tricorder?" "Yes, it is. I'm a doctor." "Why do we need a doctor to repair a power relay?" "You don't," says Bashir, obviously. "I'm doing a study. Stress in the workplace." He's looking at O'Brien. Like, "Why don't you two go on and pretend I'm not here?" So the guy says, "So where should we start?" O'Brien says, "Well, obviously the first thing we do is to take this transdater here," and he pulls it out and all the power goes out. And he pushes it back in and leave it exactly where it is. And Bashir says the job pressure's been getting to him. "Why don't you take over?" And Dr. Bashir says, "All right, Ensign, I think we've seen enough. Why don't we get you back to sick bay?" And Bashir says, "I'd appreciate it if you don't mention this to anyone." He's like, "No problem. Hope you feel better." And they very wisely walk out of there, none the wiser. Kronos says, "Why can't they do good episodes in HD? It's just so expensive." "Generally altered my butt," says Kronos. "Oh no, and now Odo's got a Tribble." And Worf comes up. And he's like, "It's so soothing." And then he shows it to Worf. And it makes a noise. And Worf knows what a Tribble is. Kronos says, "What is a nuclear vessel?" Usually they're found in naval vessels of the time. He got it from a man named Cyrano Jones. He said, "Tribbles like everyone, but this one doesn't seem to like you." And Worf says, the feeling is mutual. They're detestable creatures." Odo says, "Interesting. Most humanoids love soft, furry animals, especially if they make pleasing sounds." And Worf says, "They do nothing but consume food and breed. If you feed it more than the smallest morsel in 10 hours, you have 100, then 1,000. They were once mortal enemies of the Klingon Empire." Odo's like, "This, mortal enemy of the Empire." He says they were an ecological menace, a plague to be wiped out. Odo says, "Wiped out? What are you saying?" Worf says, "Hundreds of warriors were sent to throughout the galaxy, and Armada obliterated the Tribble homeworld." They were eradicated by the end of the 23rd century. He said, oh, another glorious chapter of Klingon history. Do they still sing songs of the great Tribble hunt? Kronos' Worf is not happy, and Commodore Ty again had a link deleted by the Google moderator team. Sons of a bitch. Commodore Ty, tweet me what you want me to post, and I will post it, God damn it. Kronos' Worf is not happy. Random Menace's Odo got a cereal. No, he didn't get a cereal. And Cisco tried to hit his badge and say Defiant. He had to use the old communicator to call the Defiant. A Klingon D7 battle cruiser just dropped out of warp. It's approaching the station. Can they identify the Klingon vessel? It's the IKS Groth. That's Koloth's ship. Curzon's old friend. He remembers Koloth saying he traded insults with Kirk near the Federation border. He always regretted not being able to face him in battle. He says, that's Koloth. She's like, maybe we should beam over to the station to help Worf. We know Darwin was there. He's like, I think Bashir and Chief O'Brien should go. She's like, but if we go, we might run into Koloth. He says, exactly. It's like, it's not like he'd recognize me. I'd love to see him at his prime. And he says, Dax. He says, Major, will you beam the Chief and Bashir to K7 and fill them in? Dax says, it would have been fun. And but Cisco says, too much fun. And Dax was right. They were only interested in shore leave. It's just his channel link, says Commodore Ty. So just go to Commodore Ty and YouTube. You'll get his channel link. They need to find a turbo lift so they can beam back to the Defiant. And it's Turbo Lift 7. That old style plastic. Hey, it's that same lady. Hello again. She is cute. She's looking at Bashir. They're going to deck 10. She says, your flap is open to Bashir. Brian looks. On your tricorder. You're draining power. Oh, thank you. He's always doing that, says O'Brien. She's like, you're a doctor. She just transferred from the Lexington last week. He says, welcome aboard. She's coming to sickbay for her physical. Oh, got serious. 1500. Lieutenant Watley. That means you be there for my physical, Doc. And O'Brien says, you know, she's just using you to get to me. And Bashir says, Watley, that was my grandmother's name. And I think she was in Starfleet. Says it's a common enough name, says O'Brien. Says, what if it is her? She's like, do you know what the odds are? He's like, nobody ever met my grandfather. This could be a predestination paradox. Certainly, I could be destined to fall in love with that woman and become my own great-grandfather. It's something out of Futurama. O'Brien says you're being ridiculous. And he says if I don't meet with her, I could never be born. And he says, Chief, are you ready to be beamed out of there? He says, are you ever? Are we ever? He's like, you can't wait till we get back to Deep Space Nine and see your face when you see I never existed. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious part of the episode. The funniest part of the episode. Josh reads his bird of prey. Bashir is trying to pull a Fry. Yes. Bashir is trying to pull a Fry. Bridge to Captain Kirk. Oh, there's Kirk and Spock with Cisco and Dax in the background. And he says, come on, you're just doing your job. Yes, Mr. Barrows. This station is swarming with Klingons. I was not aware that 12 Klingons constituted a swarm. And Dax is really smiling. She's like, I had no idea. He's so much more handsome in person. Those eyes. And Sisko says the captain had quite the reputation as a ladies' man. She's like, not him, Spock. And Sisko looks over and says, come on, let's go, Dax. He's like, I got Klingons around the grain. I got guards around the grain. I got guards around the Klingons. And Dax like, I can't believe you don't want to at least meet Captain Kirk. He's like, are you not the tiniest bit interested in meeting one of the most famous men in Starfleet history? He says, but it's James Kirk. He's like, of course I want to meet him. I'd like to shake his hand. Ask him about fighting the Gorn on Cessnus 3, but that's not why we're here. She's like, you're right. The difference is, I remember this time. I lived in this time. It's hard to not want to be a part of it again. My God, look how beautiful this set is. How beautiful this ship is. And it works. It works. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Enterprise. And now O'Brien and Bashir come into the bar and says, clearly we've been going about this search all wrong. We should have just, sat at the bar and wait for Darwin to come to us. And Odo says, we have reason to believe he's going to return to this area. The Raktajino, a vital clue that others might have missed. How fortunate it is that it's kept us stuck at this bar for the past 3 hours having drinks. Oh, and there's Scotty and Prue coming in. And O'Brien says, there's Kirk. He's like there on his left with the gold just sitting down. It's not Kirk. Bashir says, that's Kirk. And Worf says, it would be an honor to meet him. But O'Brien says, let's buy him a drink. And Odo says, nobody's buying anyone anything. You're like, you can't risk altering the timeline. Bashir doesn't think it's Kirk. And he says, what is it? And don't ask for Raktajino if I have to say. And he's like, who ordered Raktajino? The Klingons. And Odo's looking around. Klingons? He's like, she's like, over there and over there. And they point to Klingons. She's like, those are Klingons? They're old school TOS Klingons. And they all look at Worf. Like, those are Klingons? She's like, that's it. No more for you. Mr. Worf? He says, they are Klingons. And it's a long story. He's like, what happened? Genetic engineering? A mutation? And he says, we do not discuss it with outsiders. And that was perfectly good until Enterprise, where then it's a combination of both. And this is it. And if I think Kirk is a Danubian slime devil, that's my opinion too. Don't do it, mister, that's an order. But you heard what he called the captain. And he's like, what? So he's having a security officer handle it. He's like, are you sure that's Kirk? Why has he got lieutenant stripes? And he's like, I think we got bigger problems in the case of mistaken identity. Half the quadrant knows it. That's why they're learning to speak Klingonese. Mr. Scott, says Chekhov. Laddie, don't you think you should rephrase that? You're right. I should. I didn't mean to say the Enterprise should be hauling garbage. I meant to say it should be hauled away as garbage. Oh no. Oh no, he didn't. Oh no, he didn't. He's still laughing. And there, Scott picks up, boom! Right to the face. And now all the Klingons stand up, and Bashir and O'Brien stand up. And like, what are you doing? And they all start fighting, and including including O'Brien and Bashir. O'Brien just misses a table being thrown past his face. Scotty's fighting the Klingons. O'Brien's fighting the Klingons. Random Federation Starfleet people are fighting the Klingons. Bashir's fighting the Klingons. Chekhov is beating up that Klingon that he beat up the first time. It didn't help. Cyrano Jones is helping himself to a bunch of alcohol for free. A good old-fashioned bar fight. People are being thrown over the bar. Worf is fighting the Klingons. You would think the Klingons would recognize Worf, but they don't. It's all good. Cyrano Jones again escapes without getting hit until he gets to the door and the bartender walks in after the Federation security people, and the bartender takes the first drink. Odo takes in and he says, it's Darwin. He breaks, and so now they're headed after Darwin, and now a Federation, Starfleet security have Miles and Bashir and the rest of the bar fighters all together. They're going to be all lined up. And we're back on the station. Says, never insult the Enterprise in front of Scotty. And temporal anomaly people are like, your people could have avoided that fight. Starfleet officers should have taken every precaution to minimize participation in historical events. You're talking to the guy who's the new Bell of the Bell riots. He says it was a mistake. But he's like, if we could be living in an alternate timeline right now, he's like, if there were any changes in the timeline, we would have been the first to know. He's like, why do they always say that? They always have to say that. Rock Solid says Bird of Prey confirms the NCC 1701 should be hauled away as garbage. No, it's not what I said. I like cunning stunts, says Kronos. And Kirk wants to know who started it. Who started the fight? I don't know, sir, says O'Brien. All right, Chekhov. I know you. You started the fight. You started. Said, no, sir, I didn't. Well, who did? I don't know, sir. I don't know, sir. Kronos says, wow, Bird of Prey, are you excited? Could you tell? Roxanne says, Bird of Prey, any set Jadzia is on is clearly the most beautiful set. And Kronos says, I wish that Bashir was never born. Worst doctor ever. Josh reads his Bird of Prey. It would be great if CBS would add changes from this episode, TOS episode. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Kronos' Bird of Prey. I wish that Bashir... Yeah, I read that. So now they found that the Tribbles are on board the Enterprise. Roxanne's Bird of Prey also missed previous Bird of Prey comments. I went back to read them. Cunning stunts or stunning? No, cunning stunts. Rambling Menace. Don't try to get me in trouble. So they beamed Mr. Darwin back to the Defiant, but he's happy. He's like, I hope you realize you'll be facing very serious charges when we get back. Darwin is like, you wouldn't dare put one of the greatest heroes of the Klingon Empire into the brig. Worf says, you're no hero to the Empire. And he's like, I will be. I've been thinking of my statue in the Hall of Warriors. I wanted to capture my essence. Our statues can be so generic sometime. He's like, I take it, whatever your plan is, you've already set it in motion. He's like, I see myself standing with Kirk's head in one hand and a Tribble in the other. And Worf is like, what have you done? Did you hire someone to kill him? Did you sabotage the Enterprise? It's like nothing so mundane. Let's just say Kirk's death will have a certain poetic justice. Ha 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 ha. He put a bomb in a Tribble? It's his revenge. Why would he even tell them what he did? Why would he tell them what he did? Well, he said he put a bomb in a Tribble. It's set to go off within the hour. How did they get this info out of him? If he didn't tell them, they would have no idea what happened. His plan would have worked. So, but Dax says if they can get to the bridge, they can scan for the explosive on the Enterprise in a matter of seconds. They think Mr. Worf should remain here. He's coming down with... he's allergic to Tribbles. Cisco says all right. He's like, she's not sure he can get to the K7's stations. He's like, there must be thousands of Tribbles. And Dax is 1 million, and the number that Spock said. There's over 1 million Tribbles on the station. They have their orders, so if they can't get to the sensors, they've got to scan every Tribble on the station manually. So now Cisco's on the bridge of the Enterprise, and Kirk is coming, and he sits down. He sits on a Tribble. He gets up, and the Dax is looking at him, and Kirk pulls the Tribble out from under his butt. He's looking around. Dax is like, I don't know. I didn't put it there. And he bangs on his chair. He's like, Dr. McCoy, come up to the bridge. And Dax goes over to, I don't know what Dax does. Just decides to get closer to Kirk. Walk across the bridge. And Kirk is taking the Tribbles away from everybody. She rerouted the sensor interface. So now Cisco can scan the bridge. And Dax said she almost thought that it was going to go off when he sat down. Kronos has stroked my Tribble. Nothing on the first 6 decks. And there's McCoy. Says, you want to see me? He's like, don't look at me. It's the Tribbles who are breeding. And Dax says, I know him. He says, that must be McCoy. And she's like, McCoy. The nearest thing he can figure out is that they're born pregnant. When Keem seems to be quite a time saver. She's like, Leonard McCoy, Dax says. I met him when he was a student at Old Miss. Has Curzon? No, his host at the time was Emily. She was on Earth judging a gymnastics competition. I had a feeling he'd become a doctor. He had the hands of a surgeon. And that's the eyebrows. That's the eyebrows from Eyebrow Raising Dax. And Cisco scanned every deck. The bomb's not aboard the ship. It must be aboard K7, and then we're treated to an interior shot of the K7, of the grain, of the storage bay, and I guess one of these Tribbles, maybe the one that's moving, is the one with the bomb in it, or one of these Tribbles has got the bomb. Carlos's Dax have lovely blue spots in HD. There's the Tribble with the bomb. The bomb Tribble. The Bibble. So now we got Odo and Bashir and O'Brien. We're uselessly scanning every Tribble in the bar. Like, who the hell cares? Clearly the bomb is not in the bar. Carlos's eye is not spots. Okay. Lord Thoth says it's Garfield. He has the bomb. Qapla, Lord Thoth. So, Dax says we can narrow it down. Presumably, Darwin put the bomb somewhere he knows Kirk's going to be in the next hour. So, if they stick with Kirk, they'll find the bomb. And Odo says there's no reason for them to stop searching, which is true. But it's a waste of time. So somehow they knew that Kirk was going to go into the mess hall. And they were already there. This is his chicken sandwich. And whatever. He wants them off the ship. He doesn't care if it takes every man they got. Aye, they got into the machinery, all right, says Scotty. Probably in all the other food processors, too. This is how, probably through one of the air vents. They have vents of this type on the station. The storage compartments. Okay, so Cisco knows they got to go to the storage compartments. So we got Cisco and Dax climbing down into a storage compartment filled with tribbles, filled with grain. The grain was poisoned. Most of these tribbles are dead. She's scanning for a tri-cobalt signature. She's getting a tri-cobalt signature. The bomb is here somewhere. Uh-oh, somebody's trying to open the door. It seems to be stuck. Someone's trying to open the bay door. Now, it would have been really interesting if Dax made the door stuck so they couldn't open it. And that would explain why they couldn't open it. And then Kirk opens the door above his head, and that one opens, and a bunch of tribbles come falling out, and he's getting covered in tribbles. So they're in there feverishly scanning for tribbles, and it's right in front of them. She's narrowed it down, the tri-cobalt signature, and now the tribbles, which were coming out one at a time onto Kirk's head, we see why they're coming out like that. It's because Cisco is throwing them out. And Cisco and Dax are throwing them out the hole. Thousands of them. Hundreds of thousands. 1,771,561. Assuming one tribble, and that's exactly what Dax said. And they give each other. He found it. Cisco found it. Okay. Now we got to beam this Tribble off the ship. Cisco to Defiant. I found the bomb. Lock onto the tricorder and beam it into space. Now, a good thing they don't have to wait for the band and the Enterprise to beam it off. I guess they're just okay. So they beam the Defiant and the communicator into space. The bomb blows up in space. Apparently the Enterprise doesn't know what happened. It worked. And he's like, first find Cyrano Jones. Close that door. You're right under the door. Close the door. Anyway, Cisco is saying, and once the bomb was detonated, history continued uninterrupted. And thanks to Tribbles, Kirk learned the truth about Darwin. He learned they don't seem to like you. Bones, and Bones comes over with the tricorder, says, Jim, this man is a Klingon. Yep. So by the time they returned, Major Kira had discovered how to use the orb to bring them back to their own time. He's like, and that's when we return to the present? He's like, not exactly, says Cisco. And they lean back. There was one more thing he had to do. Greetings, Wesley. Happy birthday, Wesley. Oh. So Cisco goes to Kirk and says, excuse me, Captain, here's tomorrow's duty roster. And he's like, Lieutenant Benjamin Cisco. Just want to say it's been an honor serving with you. And this one scene was Kirk smiling at the woman from the episode, the Mirror Universe, Mirror. And he's like, now if you want to put a letter of reprimand in my record for that, you may. And he says, we'll have to review the case. And the other guy says, well, I don't think there was any harm done. I probably would have done the same myself. You'll receive a report in about a month. But based on what you've told us, I don't think you have anything to worry about. He says, glad to hear it. Goodbye, Captain. And they go to the docking port. And as quickly as they come, they leave. They don't even spend a day on the station. Everything is over. The constable wants to see us. And Odo says, did you tell them? He says, they didn't ask, says Sisko. I'm open to suggestions. And Dax says, we could build another station. And then we got the picture of Quark with a Tribble on his head. And Tribbles all over Quark's bar. And Tribbles have been reintroduced into the 24th century. And we will never worry about the Tribbles again. End of episode. Lieutenant MacGyver's. Yes, Lord Thoth. Lieutenant MacGyver's. Excellent reference. And Wesley Crusher. Happy birthday to Wesley. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wesley Crusher. Happy birthday to you. Now shut up, Wesley. No. But happy birthday. Mamo praises happy birthday as well, Wesley. And Wesley says that was one of my favorite DS9 TOS episodes. As mine, Wes. As mine. You have great taste. Great taste in Star Trek. Rock Solid says, who needs Kira when you have Jadzia? Well, I don't think anybody really argues. Kronos says, Kira can use my orbs. Wesley says, my PC died. Oh no, your PC died on your birthday. I'm super pissed. Oh, Wesley, I'm so sorry, Wesley. Oh, and do you know what it is? Is it a small part? Oh, man. Random Menace's Bird of Prey, do you think the Tribbles would react to Tyler? Probably. And RXP donated $1. Here's $1. Please do not say. It's too late, but I'm done. I'm done singing. Yeah, they'd probably react to Ash Tyler. Although we still don't know, and Discovery doesn't know, whether Ash was ever a Klingon mutated to mutilated to look like a human, or a Klingon mind transferred into a human brain, or both. It was basically both. It made no sense. It made no sense. Josh reads as Wesley Crusher, have a Tribble day. Kronos says Sisko's a hypocrite. No, he's not. No, he's not. Wesley says, someone send LDG over to fix my PC. Wes. What's happening, Wes? Are you getting... is anything happening? Does it boot up? Can you get to... I assume you can't get into Windows. Does it boot? Carlos says, Klingons can hunt Tribbles again. Oh, think of the glory, Bird of Prey, the songs that will be sung. Josh reads his Bird of Prey. They could call the Klingons so they could do another great Tribble hunt. And this was a good... Yes, Kronos, this was a great episode. Wesley, yes, we'll send someone. Josh reads his, dear God, no more singing, Bird of Prey. My ears are bleeding. Come on. That was a short song. Darth Maul says, and the great Tribble hunt returns. RIP PC, says Kronos. Happy birthday, says Lord Thoth. Kronos says, oh, that stuff sucks. William Jackson says, yep. Darius says, happy birthday to Wesley. Josh reads says, Wesley, do you get any lights when you turn on your computer? Yeah, these are all questions we need to know, Wes. Carlos says, Project Prometheus will get LDG for you yesterday. Lord Thought, so I assume Ash Tyler would have a hard time with Tribble cereal. Probably. Kronos says, we're all hypocrites, Bird O'Prey. And sorry for the bad news. Bradley Briggs says, did it explode? How much flame and smoke came out of it? Yeah, what happened? Wesley says, Bird O'Prey, no boot. I thought it might be power, but you got a new power supply. Okay, did you try it? Did you try the new power supply yet? Cronin says, wow, it was a great episode, dear Lord. And Darius says, that was a great episode. Carlos says, praise the soup with Jedi Bill. Enjoy a good brew, Captain Track. And as always, hail Karoga, Bird O'Prey 5. Hail Karoga. Carlo, thank you again. Darth Maul says, once Ash Tyler realizes the Tribble, he'd say, Vox me. Possibly. Josh Reed says, Wesley, do you have onboard graphics? Try unplugging the GPU. I'm curious if you've tried the new power supply or not yet, Wes. If it is the power supply, that's not too bad if in the scheme of things. Lord Thought says there was actually a pretty good season of DS9. A few great episodes. Wesley's a Bird of Prey, talk after stream if you want. That sounds good, Wes. I will, in fact, if you want to, I don't know if LDG's in his backstage, but I will put the link. And if you want to talk there, let me see if he's backstage. He is. Okay, Wes, if you want, that's LDG's backstage area. I'll go there. LDG's there, so we can have the little brain trust going, and we can try and fix your situation. Bradley Briggs says if one of the memory cards went out, the computer won't boot up. Bad memory card. Yeah, that could be it too. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out and sharing with me this greatest episode of Star Trek, in my opinion, of DS9 especially. Well, of Trek especially. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys soon. Tomorrow, other streams. Wes, I don't know if you're still planning, if you can get it fixed in time. I think you were planning on doing a stream tonight for your birthday. If that's still on, we'll see. Darth Maul says Vox, Vok, Vork. Vok, pronounced like Spock. Vok me. Oh, Vok me. I'm sorry. My bad. Darius says, thanks for sharing this episode with all of us. And Kronos is in later taters. Later all. Qapla. Bird out. Wes, I will speak to you however you want. On Skype or over by LDG. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out birdoprey5.com, the new home of everything Bird O'Prey 5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/birdoprey5 or on birdoprey5.com. Take care.